Hi everyone, welcome to this channel, the Ego Friendly Banter. This video is going to be about the major energy imbalances that we all face at one point or the other, and especially for everyone who thinks that they are an empath. They pick up energies really fast, they are sensitive to energies in general, or HSPs, which means highly sensitive people. It can either be because of the trauma that you faced during your lifetime, or you've been like this ever since you were a child. You know better. And even if you are not, just know that you are an energetic being, and there are a lot of ways in which an energy can affect you. And what I will share in this particular video or this presentation, because this is a new format that I'm trying, is how those imbalances can manifest in your physical life and what exactly you can do to prevent it. Now, whatever I will share is based on my personal experiences and my research and my studies. Whether or not it is sane or it's actually helpful, it will totally depend from person to person. So take only what resonates and then just leave the rest. Also, when we talk about recognizing, preventing, or correcting these imbalances in daily life, we have to do it without any kind of fear or fanaticism. And instead of becoming obsessive or isolated, become empowered and use different tools which also the nature has given to us to protect our peace and sort of restore our wholeness, to understand ourselves better, and to release any kind of stuck energy which is affecting us badly. First things first, it's so very important that when you start doing any kind of energy work or start understanding your own energy, it is not about judging others or cutting them off or cutting off from the world completely, which means isolating yourself, because sensitivity can be a bane sometimes. I know that. Sometimes 3 days before meeting someone, you start having panic attacks because you are not aware what exactly that person is carrying in their energy and why it is happening to you, because that is how these things work. But at the same time, this sensitivity, when you start to understand how helpful it can be, it does not make you superior as well. It's just about, I think, becoming more responsible. And since you've been graced with something like this, which can be very helpful to others as well, it's on you to become a little more accountable and responsible. So, certain people, spaces, etc., they'll keep on affecting your energy, certain things as well. But you don't have to avoid them or be paranoid all the time. I have done that and I regret it. Of course, we have to maintain our boundaries, but we have to make sure that judgment or any kind of rejection is not forming within us during that entire process. So we have to be mindful and aware while doing all this. For example, if there's a vintage scarf that you got from a thrift store and it belonged to someone who was suffering, it will carry emotional imprints. But you can energetically cleanse it. If you're visiting, say, a crowded place or a market, it doesn't have to drain you, because it is in your hands to shield yourself completely, to be internally resourced. If you're having a, say, low moment and interacting with a difficult person, someone you don't have a good rapport with, it doesn't really have to damage your aura. We as humans, as spiritual beings living in this vessel, we are not that fragile. We just have to learn to tend to our energy or our energetic field as we would tend a garden. and I talk about this so many times. So, this energetic hygiene is not really different from washing your hands every day. It's regular, it's natural, and it should be rooted in self care and not fear. We have to find patterns, we have to find what within us is triggering certain kind of responses and sensitivity, and then we have to cater to it and not form any kind of rejection or judgment around it. So, if you feel that you've been paranoid all the time while interacting with certain people or going to certain places, let's try to shift that paradigm a little and walk this path with humility instead of fear. Trust me, I am guilty of it, which is why I think it is very important to start this video with this. Before we get into imbalances, please know that you are beyond it all. You are that Brahman. Since every single thing is energy and every single thing is Brahman, every single thing is that pure consciousness, all this is a play within it. All kind of healing is self realignment, and maybe every distortion is just forgetting your true self. And here, that self is self with capital S. Now, since we have this body consciousness and not realized that self yet, it is important for us to take care of things like this. If you are someone who is a sage, a completely realized person like Sri Ramana Maharishi, then maybe these things will not affect you. So, this is not for you. This video might not be for you. But we do get into imbalances until and unless, of course, we are even in that bit of body consciousness. So there's no such thing as isolated energy which is separate from consciousness, and it's very, very important to understand this. And once you do that, I think releasing energy or using it to your own advantage becomes very easy or becomes more potent than it was before. So even this energy is frequency, it's vibrational appearance in this whole awareness which you are. It's just Maya of Sri Hari, which is a part of Sri Hari. So all that we touch, see, feel, even our pain, it's Brahman in motion. For example, just a guitar string that goes slightly off tune, or ukulele string. It keeps on happening with my ukulele, so I'm giving that example. Every single thing is still a part of that same ukulele, right? It's just that the melody, it has turned dissonant. So I'm just trying to correct that string, to tune that string. I hope I'm able to put my point across. And Om, the primordial sound, it's not just a sound, but a sound body of all that exists. So if you don't want to watch this video any further and want just one giveaway, I would say meditate on this primordial sound, because it will bring in balance every single thing. Just to ground this particular message a little more, I think the slide explains itself. In this world of constant distraction, emotional overstimulation because of phone, constant social media, doom scrolling, overthinking, multitasking, and this immense amount of digital overload, these 5G towers, 4G towers, and a lot of things, we are tugged at mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually from devices, people, thoughts, um, s- social pressure. But these pulls, they are not the problem. The problem is when we lose our stillness because of these pulls, when we forget our true center. So, just as a wheel rotates, the hub remains still. Energy may whirl all around, but your healing, it begins when you re-establish the contact with your inner still point, the self, which is the eye of the storm, the conscious pause that we talked about in Mother Kali's video, where energy is seen for what it is, as a tool and not a tyrant. So from here on, no matter what I talk about, try to think of it as the ways in which we lose our center, and try to think of the solutions as something which can help you come back home again. Before we get into energy imbalances, it's very important to understand what aura is. Most of you might be aware of it already. But when I posted the video on Aura Leak, the podcast in the series called Third Power, there was this elaborate discussion that I had with a kind gentleman on the same topic. So I think if one person is interested in it so deeply, there must be others as well. So here it is. Our aura is, for humans, it's called human energy field, which is HEF. But aura is electromagnetic field of different subtle colored radiance, which is around every living being, whether it's an animal or a place. It's everywhere. This energy, it's everywhere. Every place, everything, every living being, especially, they have an aura. And for us, specifically humans, it extends about 2 to 3 feet from physical body in all directions and forms this auric egg, which is oval in shape. It's densest near the body and keeps on getting subtler as we go outward. And in cases of energetic imbalance, which we will be talking about after this, or in cases of illness, it starts getting depleted or distorted. So, what we perceive as this physical body is really slowly vibrating energy. I think physics has recently, or maybe not so recently, proved that there is a little space between all atoms, right? So even when we appear to stand on ground, we are really levitating because there's very little space um, between our feet and the ground, and every single thing that seems to touch the other. So we are that vibrating energy, right? But this aura, it's faster and even more subtler energy. It's invisible to most, but the more sadhana you do, the more practice you do, you can learn to sense it or even see it. There's this thing called Kirlian photography. I think I'm pronouncing it right. With that particular camera, you can see colors, although I have not done it for myself, so I'm not really sure if that actually works or if that's correct. I would love to know if you've ever done something like that and if it helped you. So it permeates the body but also radiates from the physical body. And this physical body that I talked about earlier, it's just one part of it. We are energetic beings beyond what is visible, right? I think if you're watching this video, you must already be aware of this. So, our aura is formed of 7 interpenetrating layers, and each one is nested within the other. Each layer corresponds to different aspects of the self, for example, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. These are the subtle energy bodies. My definition of aura and energy bodies depends upon um, my lessons from my Reiki teacher. I use that for self healing and I would most definitely recommend it. But we'll talk about that later. One was the physical body, as we discussed. Then it's the etheric body, which is closest to the physical body and deals with our physical sensations and vitality. Emotional body, of course, manages our feelings and moods. Mental body is associated with our thoughts and logic. My entire podcast series, Thought Power, is related to this itself. Astral body is the bridge between the lower and the higher planes, something which most of the people are obsessed with. So it deals with love and relationships as well. Etheric template, it's the blueprint for physical body, and it's basically your potential. Your celestial body is the level of divine love and spiritual ecstasy that you can feel or embody. Causal body, or the Ketheric template, it's the highest. It's the connection to the soul purpose and the divine source. Now, there's something very important to note before we talk about this, that the imbalances, they can often overlap. For example, if you have a leaky aura, or we'll talk about these problems later, it may show up as emotional reactivity, fatigue, overwhelm, lack of boundaries. So it's like a multi-layered pattern, by the way. There will never be a single symptom. It will show up in your career, relationships, physical body, your spiritual practices. So you have to be very, very mindful to observe what exactly is happening and how it is manifesting in your life. For example, if you have persistent fatigue or brain fog despite taking all the rest that you want, you feel off in certain environments without any clear reason, or after meeting certain people, or if you have unexplained anxiety, sadness, rage, getting violent thoughts or very, very sexual thoughts all the time without prompting, or if you have physical symptoms with say no medical route, some people start getting bruises out of nowhere, or headaches, tight chest, nausea. You have sleep disturbances, nightmares, sleep paralysis especially, or chronic procrastination, lack of motivation, apathy. You keep um, feeling haunted, watched, especially in particular corners in your home. Your electronics keep malfunctioning, and the plants at your home, they die quickly. Suddenly you feel very cold at certain places, and you feel those shifts in your room temperature. You become hypersensitive to noise or light or people's energy. So these are the things. And other than that, maybe you have this intuitive sense of being very drained after certain interactions, as I said, and you are unable to ground yourself or meditate despite however much you are trying, or you have racing thoughts all the time, or floaty sensation all the time. You feel that you're not grounded at all, and it becomes very difficult for you to center yourself. You're not able to let go of unhealthy patterns in your life. All of it is an energy imbalance. Whether or not it's external, we'll talk about it later. So I think these explained to a great extent how you can find if your energy is imbalanced. But the thing that I forgot, sorry, was fear based looping, lack of focus, poor memory, all these things also, quick burnouts, addictive behaviors, panic attacks, and if you feel that you're stuck or completely lost or disconnected, you don't have a particular path that you can follow, all of that also. All this happens, yes, because of karma, because of past imprints and all, but it can be corrected. Again, before we get into imbalances, it's important to note that sometimes, no matter what you do, nothing really helps you, because the place where you live has some malefic influence. So, according to this Hindu science called Vastu Shastra, you can find many books in the market for it. It is basically about recognizing how architectural design and placement, they affect your prana or chi and energy of your house. So I'm not an expert in it. What you can do is either read books about it, maybe ask ChatGPT about it, or just hire an expert. or just call out to Archangel Metatron because it's his domain. Places which especially need some kind of Vastu or Feng Shui fix are the places where there's a lot of grief or trauma or chaos, for example, battlegrounds and war grounds, hospitals, etc., or places near highways, sharp corners, the houses which are in corners. They must definitely be checked for these things. Houses next to electric towers, dark alleyways, all of those places, they have um, these energetic imbalances and they need to be corrected. So if you stay in, say, a house with Vastu fault, for example, if the toilet is in the northeast or your main door faces a T junction, it will affect you or your life in certain ways. It will affect your health and your relationships and your career. So you have to see where exactly you are going wrong if nothing else is helping. Sleeping in wrong directions or emotional residues in any house where you are living from, say, death in the past or divorces, violence, ancestral suffering, and all those things, they also affect you. They cause these sudden arguments and confusions and um, nightmares, sickness, financial and emotional drains, and a lot of other things. So I would most definitely recommend checking the vastu of your home. I want to share a lot of videos, of course, on shadow work and nervous system reset and all those things, but mostly on shadow work. It's important that when you start healing your energy imbalances, you do not tag your nervous system's reactions as these imbalances. You have to make sure that the way that you are reacting is not fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn. That's the least that I can say. If after a lot of work, some kind of, say, suicidal thoughts or extreme paranoia, hearing voices, or you still sensing entities or psychic forces around you, all of that, if it still exists, and if you have any kind of history of abuse of any kind and psychic attacks or energy attachments or entity attachments, then I would recommend that you seek an energy healer or a trauma informed therapist or a shamanic practitioner or someone who is an expert, because I am not an expert in all this. I'm sharing what has helped me throughout my life. And sometimes I was confusing my nervous system's imbalances with external energy, and it was not so. And the moment I started correcting what was within me, what was outside of me started correcting itself. So if you don't feel joy or identity, vitality, and all of these things without any certain reason, without any cause, I would recommend that you seek help. And there's no shame in being vulnerable. You can always, always share with people that you love, and you're free to do that. We all love you. Now comes the most important part of this video. Being sensitive is a good feedback loop, but not really always. It tells you that there's something around. Maybe you should shield yourself, you should protect yourself, maybe you should avoid those places. That intuition, it's helpful, but sometimes it gets very overwhelming and draining. And the ways it can happen is like this. If your aura is leaky, or say it has tears or rips, then probably you have a history of trauma, intense stress, emotional breakdown, and that made you psychically very leaky, because it gives you anxiety, constant feeling of being invaded, constant overthinking, ruminations, or you've become an empath and now there's empathic overload. And this pranic depletion, it's linked to unresolved karma, because whatever happened in the past was because of karma. If you don't believe in karma, well, you can ignore that point. But yes, any kind of trauma, stress, and all these things, they do affect your aura. and that is how you develop rips. So when these rips, they expand, they become holes, and they are more severe, and energy starts pouring out from these like a vortex. This causes power leakage, almost, or soul loss. Now, when that happens, something or the other has to come to fill up that energy, which is why the psychic attachments happen, which is why you start filling it up with addictions, or energy parasites start coming. This leads to chronic illness and repeated thought loops, constant energy crashes. Fragmentation is a part of soul where the soul gets split off and gets left, so to speak, or your energy gets left where you cried the most, where you were very stressed, where you were not happy, where you face some kind of big trauma, because that part gets split to protect you from pain. Pain caused from trauma, shock, abuse, heartbreak, betrayal, surgery, ancestral events, every single thing. And it manifests as numbness, memory gaps, disassociation, Alzheimer's, and not really feeling like yourself, feeling like something is missing all the time, because it's your part of your soul. As I talked about energy parasites earlier, they start sucking on that wound, which actually needed correction. So there will be intrusions by earthbound spirits or unresolved ancestral energy, astral parasites. These can happen because of sexual encounters as well, or death in family, addiction. If you do any kind of energy work or anything without protection, it'll cause paranoia, fear, exhaustion, mood shifts, or different kind of compulsions. You not being able to control yourself, because that will create a big leakage in your lower chakras. Any kind of gossip, drama, verbal negativity, criticism, overthinking, rumination, etc., they arise from these wounds, and they cause these wounds as well. And of course, insecurity. So we need to correct them first. We have to stop ourselves from doing that. If you think that you've come across someone who is maybe false light, who carries that false light, or um, who has that disturbance in their energy, which is masquerading maybe as guide or angel, or these malevolent spirits who guise themselves as the help, the chaperons. You have to be very careful when you open your portals to them. And also people who keep on um, being pathologically altruistic, love and light and all of that. No, that love and light personas are used by certain people to bypass their shadow, their shadow integration, to bypass what they carry. So you have to be very mindful. And if you are doing this, then stop it right away. If you have obsessive thoughts, self hate, and even negative projections from others, energy constructs which are formed from complete and repeated internal and emotional reinforcement over and over again, then they will result in energy imbalances, because you're not being authentic to yourself, you're not being true to yourself. So stop pathologizing your rage, your anger, your emotions, no matter what those emotions are. And not everything is love and light in that sense. Energetic contamination also occurs, by the way, because of um, the cords that we have with certain people, objects, places, some things that we are very attached to. Not all cords are bad, especially not uh, with people who we are connected to by body if we are in good relationship with them, but mostly it's sexual and familial, or the trauma bonds, or even long distance psychic entanglements. Especially in these times of social media, it's just so irritating how easily the energies can connect. The moment you stalk somebody, there's this cord that is formed between you and them, and you might just be picking up their energies and not even know why you're getting angry or sad. And it's the other person who's having all those energies and affecting you. If you find yourself obsessively thinking about somebody, you're unable to move on, you feel this weird energetic pull, and you're trying to call those trauma bonds as something, maybe as twin flames or soulmates and all those things, I think you need to pause a little and kind of recalibrate and understand what exactly is happening. It might be true, but do not gaslight yourself into putting yourself down, basically disrespecting yourself. Next is energetic debris. It's static, almost like stagnant energy, and it is caused from daily stress. And every single thing we keep on thinking about things which don't really matter, the negative thoughts and negative environments, it clogs the flow, causes confusion, heaviness, irritation, sensitivity. You must have experienced that yourself. Whenever you are restless, whenever you are too busy, these are the things that manifest. So it's so important to remain calm. And this, by the way, causes pathways for all others. If you're not moving yourself or your body or letting your soul move, which is move on from people, places, things, you're blocking your chi, which is the prana, the force, the life force within you. You're blocking your chakras and auric layers. And these emotions, they start crystallizing into blockages. Sometimes, of course, some emotions are very, very hard to process. Some things are very hard to process. But beyond a certain point in time, they start affecting us negatively if we are not able to integrate them or let them go. Whether it's grief, shame, or any kind of stagnant energy. And all of this will keep on manifesting as lethargy, keep on manifesting as repetitive patterns, chronic issues in same chakras, the same depression, emotional paralysis, and lower back or womb issues, and all of those things. It'll manifest outside as clutter. Your bed, your room, your house. It will show you that you are going through that kind of blockage. Similarly, sludge is this very dense and sticky black energy. It's like resin or like tar. It's generally formed from ancestral blockages, but there are certain books where it's written that it's caused with trauma as well. Of course, ancestral blockages, maybe it's their trauma which is manifesting in your body. But yeah, if there's again depression and emotional paralysis, especially if you have any kind of womb issue, PCOD, and lower back pain, migraines, and all of those things, they are hereditary, and they are because of this sludge. Toxic homes, offices, malls with very low vibration, or the malls that carry tamas, whether the forces are seen or unseen, you'll be able to gauge once you start becoming very mindful. Or places which have history of conflict, illness, violence, um, too much electronics, or say places with second-hand clothes, jewelry, photos, because photos also carry energetic signatures. All these will be affecting your energy if you are extremely sensitive, or even if you are not. These are very, very, these are like hot spots. So when you are about to enter a place like this, shield yourself. We will talk about how to do that later. If you talk too much, if you take way too much information, if you have this sensory overload, empathic overload, as we talked about, you become vulnerable to all these things. Also, I'm not trying to impose any kind of dietary choice, but processed food or any food which is animal heavy, it also reduces your auric brightness. Because um, when that animal died, to put that food on your plate, it had certain kind of emotions. Of course, you can have whatever you want, but at the same time, you have to make sure that you are taking it for your body. You have to let go of the sensory pleasure that you get from eating it, that taste, that you are enjoying someone's flesh and bones. So you are detaching yourself, detaching your soul from consuming it. If you still want to consume it, by the way, the best is, of course, to not do that. For this, for example, if you feel that all these things are happening with you a lot, then probably you can try leaving any kind of non-vegetarian food for a while and then see if there are changes in your life. Then by all means continue it. It's not about um, pushing dietary choices on anyone, as I said. It's just about being very mindful of what exactly you're feeding your energy with. Alcohol, drugs, or these kind of things, they puncture your aura. Porn, violence, fear-inducing content like true crime and all those things. They are very dense. They have very very dense energy, and I think that if you don't need to, there's no need to consume all that. And these things that I named, I don't think anyone needs to consume these. It's all hungriness of your soul which is doing that, which is again binding you to Maya, into samsara, into this continuous cycle of life and death. So, but then, it's totally on you. Anyway, artificial fragrances, extremely dense perfumes, harsh chemicals, and these sprays and makeup products, the things that have a lot of chemical and artificial substance in them, or animal products, they generally carry these lower auric coherence, again for the same reasons. Because someone, when they passed, they were going through certain kind of emotions, and those emotions through their auric field have transferred into that particular product. And energy never dies, by the way. It's you who have to be mindful. So before we end, here are very very quick solutions for it. I really hope that what we have discussed until now was helpful for you. But these are the things that I can 110% attest to be extremely helpful. One is most definitely grounding. Every single day, take out time to ground yourself, to walk on grass barefoot, to spend some time on grass with your hands, like your palms and your soles, completely on grass. Try to work with elements every single day. um, Work with fire in some way whatsoever, whether it's like lighting a little lamp and saying that I'm lighting it for peace within and without me. While bathing, chant om 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 at least like 11 to 21 times, and then put that water onto you. If you are taking shower, of course, then maybe you can uh, chant om just like that, and with an intention that you are charging that water as it comes to you. You'll keep on clearing yourself. Then there's pranayama, which is air. It's the most magical thing that you can do to yourself and your nervous system. Lastly, it's the ethers. That is why meditation is very important, to connect with something that's higher than yourself, which is also yourself. It's funny and it's cute. Anyway, if you find that you're not moving, if you have a lot of clutter around you, then probably it's a sign that there's clutter within you as well. So start moving yourself, moving your body, dance like no one's watching, lock your room, play songs on full blast, and keep on dancing. That will release a lot of trauma that is stuffed and stored in your body, in your nervous system. Because every single thing, every single energy that can affect us any way whatsoever is affecting, because there is certain kind of wound which is being mirrored, which is being affected with that energy, and which demands our attention, because we are not centered, because that part of our energy is missing in our aura. If our aura is strong, then maybe you can go and hug whoever you want, you can go wherever you want, nothing can affect you. But if it is affecting you, then it means that there's something within you that needs correction, and shadow work is one such thing. But we'll talk about it anyway. So if you are finding it very hard to build a routine, then start ritualizing your things. Take sankalp, which means vow to yourself that I'll do this for 40 days, I'll do this for 21 days, and keep on doing it. As it strengthens your lower chakras, a lot of your wounds which are related to those chakras will come up, whether it's fear or underconfidence or um, a lot of sexual energy, sexual wounding. And as they come up, work on them very mindfully. If you have cedar wood oil, I'm not really sure if I've written the correct spelling of cedar wood. I think it's CEDAR, but anyway, I'm sorry for that. I would recommend taking sea salt baths every single day if possible, putting it in your bathtub, or if you are again taking shower, just rub it on you and then let water flow. Take a glass bowl and put sea salt in it, and put those glass bowls in every single room of your house. They'll so call negativity, and after a week just flush it out, then refill that bowl. Cedarwood oil, sandalwood oil, Palo Santo, sage, all these very earthy fragrances and herbs, they are extremely helpful in warding off any kind of negative energy that's at home, and especially sage and Palo Santo. If you are in India, or even if you are abroad, I'm not really sure about anywhere except India, but there are these Havan cups. They have Luban and a lot of other things within it already. I would 110% recommend burning those cups every single day at your home. You'll quickly start observing changes in your health, your mental fitness, and your thoughts, your career, relationships, everything. If you are aware of Reiki, and if you can do that, then I would recommend that you do. Or if you're not able to do that for some reason, then you can do light visualization meditation also. You can always use deities and kavach. Kavach means a protective mantra, a shield. And Indian deities can be Bhairava, Hanumanji, or Makali. There are so many other deities. Lord Narsimha, Ma Pratangira, so many of them. And in other cultures, there's Archangel Michael, Mother Sekhmet. They are extremely helpful as well. Archangel Michael is, I think, the best when it comes to clearing cords, cutting cords. You can always, always, always reach out to him before sleeping, and whenever you want to cut cords with anybody, ask him to protect you and your loved ones. He will. And Kavach, as I said, is the shield. You'll be able to find Kavach of Durga, Kali, and almost all other Hindu deities on the internet, and they are extremely powerful. Pranayama and somatics, they help in healing your nervous system, in resetting your nervous system. And nervous system is where most of your wounds lie. Everything that you've experienced ever since you were a child. So once that happens, you'll start releasing a lot of things. A lot of wounds will come up. And once those are released, your aura will start filling up itself, because now you've called back your parts which were unhealed, which were scared of that pain. Here you are accepting yourself, accepting all your parts, which is also shadow work. So the easiest way to do shadow work is journaling every single day, first thing in the morning, and last thing before you sleep is journaling. You'll be able to find so many patterns about yourself, your family line, bloodline, your health, wealth, spirituality, all other things that are affecting you. Maybe you'll start channeling as well, but you have to be very, very strict and disciplined with it. You have to do it every day. You have to pour yourself out. If you're scared that someone will maybe read it, then you can write it in your notes. And if you think that someone will read your notes, even, then maybe you can write it on a paper, tear it, and burn it. But the thing is that we have to get it all out. Your subconscious has almost all the secrets which make you who you are. Now, if nothing happened in present life which triggers the kind of responses that you give or the kind of responses that you have to certain things, then maybe it's something that's related to your past life. If you don't believe in past life, well, this part is not for you. But sometimes, because of certain kind of black magic or certain kind of rituals or something that happened in the past lives, our soul, again, certain parts are left in certain dimensions, in different dimensions. So an expert like a shaman, or sometimes very deep in your meditation itself, you can call all your parts back. And until and unless, of course, you get that kind of help from an expert, maybe you can try it every single night before you sleep. If you think that there's no other reason for whatever is happening, then start calling your energy back from all dimensions, all realities, from everywhere, wherever it's just lying, where it's not respected, where it's not needed, where it's being abused, where it's sad, stuck, angry. Call it back. Call it back, welcome it, and integrate it. Imagine it coming back to you, coming back to your heart. Then it's my most favorite practice ever. I would recommend doing this with a notebook and a pen, but you can do it in meditation as well. It's the Ho'oponopono meditation. And the practice, I have made a video on it, especially, and how it helped me in ancestral healing, and you can do that as well. Ho'oponopono is pure magic. That's all I have to say about it. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And when you do that, when you write those things or speak those things, say reasons out loud. For example, say if you have trauma of any kind, or say if you have an energy imbalance in your physical body, start doing Ho'oponopono with your physical body. If you have problems related to your career, start doing it with that. But make sure that you give out reasons for the same. For example, if I'm sorry, then for what? If I'm thanking you, then for what? If I love you, for what? I forgive you, for what? You know, you have to be very mindful. And the moment you start doing it, and every single time you do it, try to give different reasons, because that will sort of churn your soul into giving out secrets that it is holding back, which again is causing that psychic clutter and making your aura leaky, giving you those ruminations and overthinking and all those things, which are in turn making it hard for you in any way whatsoever. We already talked about Vastu. Um, if nothing is helping, of course, therapy is one very important thing that you can always look out. Feng Shui, Bagua mirrors, these are the things that I'm not an expert in, but again, these are very helpful. The frequencies and fields, almost everyone will be aware of meditative mind. You can put this in the background, keep on going about your day while it just plays. I would recommend fixing your chakras first, but through this, because when we start meditating on our chakras directly, sometimes when we are not initiated or when we are not ready, we end up doing more harm than good. So these frequencies, they are at least not harmful. Whatever they do, they will affect only as much as needed. If you believe in talismans, then by all means you can do that. I would also recommend feather sweeping, or the moment you get out of your house, maybe just chanting a Hanuman mantra. If you don't believe in Lord Hanuman, then maybe a particular prayer that you can form just for yourself, a a mantra that you can form just for yourself, something that makes you feel strong. And lastly, the most important thing, if there's any person that you think that you can forgive, please do it now. Mostly it's forgiveness and the emotions that we are holding back, especially forgiveness, by the way, which causes all this. Meditate every single day, come what may. Every single day, every single day. I cannot emphasize the importance of it enough. You can always, take help of aromatherapy and color therapy and all those things, but they are very secondary, very secondary. So these are the things that I would 100 and 1000% recommend. And if you have any kind of trauma, any kind of sadness, anything, and even if you don't, by the way, because we never know what you're holding back, please, please try to know yourself through shadow work. And please do pranayama. Please do somatics. It'll change your life, trust me. If you liked this video even a tad bit, then maybe just light the path ahead. Let people know about the things that they can do to protect themselves. I don't remember who said this, but even a single lamp, it lights 1,000 steps. So light it for others and share it with anyone who might need it. If you don't want to share the video, then maybe you can just share the practice, because I only want people to heal. That's all. Thank you.